My first impression of Chris was that he was a terrific player. We could argue that he played during the heyday of hill hockey, the outdoor rink. Fans came down in droves. They wore players' jerseys. They stamped their feet on the metal bleachers. The place was crazy. And there was one reason and one reason only that they were there. And that was because they wanted to see Chris Bala play.
He had a huge impact. I mean, he was John Micheletto took over the program in the early 90s, and then I took over for John in 96, and I inherited Chris. And John had recruited Chris to Hill as a fifth former, and I had Chris as a sixth former. And you know, it really spurred on, I think, you know, a number of seasons following that of some really good players coming to Hill. And I think they looked at Chris knowing that he went off to Harvard and then eventually, you know, off to the professional ranks in the NHL, that kids could come to Hill and you know, play at a high level after Hill. And I think that was a very important shot in the arm for the hockey program at that time.
Where does he rank in the pantheon of great Hill School players? In my experience, he's flat out the best one I've ever seen play for Hill.
Chris had a 6-year pro hockey career, and then after he retired in 2007, he returned to work at Hill. And he's the first alum to have played a professional sport who then returned to work at the school. And I think that was really important for the school and specifically for the hockey program.
I think it's very important that Chris has returned for a number of reasons. I mean, for the hockey program, again, for the same reason I just mentioned about, you know, allowing candidates, admissions candidates and recruits to know that, you know, Chris himself played at a high level and came through Hill and came through the Hill hockey program. And yeah, I think he's a huge attraction and draw for admissions candidates, for applicants and for students interested in playing in the hockey program here.
It was a remarkable experience for me to coach with Chris and sort of watch him do what he does. He really is able to keep things in perspective, and so in the heat of a situation, in an intense game, he can really sort of step back and actually focus on what's important in the game and not get caught up in the emotion.
Chris is a consummate professional who is able to take his experiences and his perspective and share it with his players in both the micro and macro levels. His intricate knowledge of the game obviously helps our players on a day-to-day basis, but he also has a way of helping them see the big picture, which isn't always easy to do. The players respect Chris and his opinion, but it's because they know that he respects them too.
He's such a good role model. I mean, I admired him when I coached him as a student. You know, now he's a colleague and a friend, and Chris is a great husband, a great father, and just a great role model to all of our students, but especially the players in his hockey program.
He's always willing to contribute to our community and school life.
To me, humility is one of the strongest traits a leader can possess, and Chris is one of the most humble, selfless people I know. The question in his mind is never, what's best for me? It's always, what's best for the other person or what's best for the group. He creates an environment that people quickly are drawn to and want to be a part of.